The turn of the 20th century saw the United States of America emerge on the global stage, a modern superpower clawing away territory and influence as the old European empires of the previous 400 years began to implode under their own weight. The Spanish-American War had established America's military might and made them an empirical force, and the new money robber barons of America's Gilded Age challenged the old money establishment in Europe in wealth and opulence. With the mineral and manufacturing wealth of the New World, along with an ever-expanding population and still developing benefits of democratic capitalism, the image of the plucky American upstart that Mark Twain had sold the world was finally manifesting. Professional wrestling was moving at pace with the country, having been its most popular pastime since the Civil War. Catch-as-catch-can wrestling was booming business across an ever-widening country, and as the century rolled over, a man who represented America, working class, brash, ruthless, and always looking to make a buck, was set to take the seat of the old world's greatest physical specimen, a learned gentleman of discipline and renown who perhaps lacked the determination and grit of an Iowa farm boy. These are the stories of Frank Gotch and George Hackenschmidt, and the world's first proper world champion. All right, gang, we're back here at Catch Chronicles. We got Jimmy on the board. How you doing, Jimmy? That's right, that cool-ass Brazilian shit. And we've got Javi, the cool-ass Venezuelan.
I was gonna say that's so Latino. It's not Brazilian. Why would you never?
I don't know the guys I learned it from. I can't.
I can't do it either.
I can't do it.
Okay.
We're Brazilian.
Is it?
Everyone in England does that. Yeah.
Like all my cousins and all that, they can.
Is it everyone but me? It's everyone but me.
I definitely can't.
Cool
so
country.
I think it's just us.
It's
Yeah.
just a cool country.
Ah, fuck. Well, we all know
Canada's great, but it's not
Canada's
a cool
great, but
country.
it ain't cool.
Except for the weed, man. You could anytime I go anywhere else and I can't get legal weed, it's like, what the fuck is wrong with this place?
I only go to places where you can get legal weed.
Fair.
Yeah. I don't
He
smoke
doesn't even
weed.
smoke weed.
Look at me. Look how square I am. Seriously.
It's Jimmy sitting the pen behind us.
You got to get through the day somehow. This is a very boring job for Jimmy.
I'm a law-abiding citizen.
Yeah, listen. Everything's kosher here, baby.
Yeah. Oh, I never
Everything's
I haven't
kosher.
touched weed in any other country. So I
Of course.
haven't heard of it.
My buddy's 64-year-old English dad, when he retired, just got a job at Cannabis New Brunswick. He was like, I never thought this would be a real thing. I didn't think I'd ever be able to do this in my life.
Ozzy Osbourne, was it?
Fucking honestly.
Sean! Rest in peace.
Yeah.
All right, so today we're doing a third and final round on Gotch and Hackenschmidt. Now, last time we got together, we recorded some episodes profiling Frank Gotch, George Hackenschmidt,
Great Gotch and Hackenschmidt.
perhaps the two greatest wrestlers that ever lived. Certainly, Frank Gotch is the greatest American wrestler. That's not to say that they didn't do horrible, detrimental things to the legitimacy of pro wrestling, particularly Gotch.
Right.
But I actually don't really care that much for legitimate wrestling anyway. I like that fake shit. So I owe a very, very serious debt to these fellas. And we talked about kind of like how they came up, the incredible lives they were leading. Today we're going to talk about them meeting and creating what you could call the first proper world championship.
In pro wrestling.
In pro wrestling, which at the time was still pro wrestling. Whereas now, if you want to do legitimate wrestling, they call you an amateur. Just to make sure people know you're not Gorgeous George.
Which is strange. Now,
It's so silly, yeah.
Do you think there is, he's saying he heard legitimacy of real wrestling, but didn't a lot of the pro wrestling come from that wrestling anyway? Do you think that they actually like negatively influenced wrestling in some way, or
I think
overall positive?
I think what it was is that it kind of... Frank Gotch was a man who knew how to work a wrestling match. You know what I mean? He knew how to swindle. He knew how to take advantage of a mark, right? And this is the first time where it was like very clearly on a world stage.
Right.
People are like, something's not right about this, which is weird because I think these are legitimate contests.
Yeah.
But
Ish.
the way they planned out exposed the business more than like
The actual contest.
worked contests.
That's fascinating.
That was probably an extremely tortured fucking sentence I just gave there. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, even though these were legitimate contests, they were so strange and confusing for the viewers and the spectators and the bettors and everybody like that. That I think it kind of exposed the worked nature of combat sports.
In general.
And it's not like people didn't know that every now and then things got fixed. He'd been exposed in the Klondike, as we talked about before, where people were like, this guy, this ain't right. This ain't right. It's not like people didn't know that you know, when you're betting on the ponies, you're betting against the house because somebody's controlling those ponies. A great jockey is the jockey who knows how to lose with the fastest horse, right? Like it's a classic,
okay,
you know,
of
kind of
course.
Hemingway.
This is why I don't gamble.
No, well, what could go wrong? Of all of the drugs I've done, it is the best and the worst. Gambling. Oof.
I didn't know. I've never seen. I mean, we play poker obviously a bunch, but
Yeah.
that's not gambling. That's
No, I don't gamble because I love to gamble.
I see,
you know what I mean? And hopefully, I was gonna say hopefully no one gambled on this. No one was alive for this. But a lot of people lost their shirts gambling on these fights, and that's how wrestling money was made, right?
Right.
Side bets.
Right.
But in the lead up to this, we've discussed George Hackenschmidt, the most dominant champion in wrestling, probably ever.
Yeah.
Champion of Europe, which they called the world champion, because nothing outside of Europe really constituted as the world to them.
Right, Jimmy?
Or even now. Well, fuck, Jimmy, come on. England ain't part of Europe no more. You made your choice.
True.
You made your call.
They step one of regaining the empire.
That's right. First,
From Europe.
yeah, you get out of their empire. Next thing you know, the borders of Czechoslovakia are covered in fucking Fuller's London Pride cans. Yeah.
The world needs original democracy.
That's yeah, original parliamentary democracy. You get rid of that fucking big-eared motherfucker sitting on your throne first.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get rid of that guy.
Deal.
Anyway, before we go off the rails here with my monarch
Yeah. I was gonna say,
slant,
maybe
let's get
picture
back
like
to the big meaty men slapping meat. So, we've talked about Hackenschmidt being the premier wrestler in Europe, which counts as the globe at the turn of the 20th century.
Fine.
And then we've got Frank Gotch back in America, making waves, making a lot of money, working matches, but being completely capable of taking care of business if need be.
And talking shit.
And talking shit, because he's a fucking classic worker. Now, Hackenschmidt comes to America for the first time in 1905 to wrestle Tom Jenkins at Madison Square Garden, which is a different Madison Square Garden. I think this is the first of the three that have been built. And Hack wins. Now, Tom Jenkins is kind of the old guard premier professional wrestler.
Right.
And Frank Gotch is the guy coming up.
Yeah.
You know, and Frank Gotch and Tom Jenkins have been going back and forth. They trade the American Championship a couple times. And when Hackenschmidt comes over, he takes care of Jenkins in Madison Square Garden, and Frank Gotch immediately challenges him in the press. But George Hackenschmidt has had quite enough of Americans. He doesn't like the way they're doing business.
I remember this, yeah.
He doesn't like the fact that they're like clearly trying to get him to do works.
Yeah.
He doesn't trust any of them. It's not too dissimilar to kind of like when you hear people talk about trying to deal with pride.
Right.
I think, right? Where they're just like, everything they do has a slant. Everything's kind of bullshit. They're subtly asking me to throw fights. They're subtly asking me to do this. So Hack leaves. Doesn't respond to Gotch. He's certainly not going to be having a match. But Gotch keeps at him, right? Gotch is winning. He's getting better. He's getting more prominent. He keeps doing it. I want to fight Hackenschmidt. Because George Hackenschmidt's a huge celebrity. He, like,
He's the man.
you know, he might have only been in America once for really one bout, but like, Americans know who he is. This is the guy that Teddy Roosevelt, the president, says, if I couldn't be president, I'd be George Hackenschmidt. This is like, he's a big deal. And eventually,
That's such a line.
it's such a great line, right? Especially from like the biggest,
Roosevelt,
like, yeah, like Roosevelt won the most just machismo president of all time. He's like, he's up there with
100%.
Putin. Like, there's no way there's not a fucking hand etched charcoal drawing of him riding a horse shirtless somewhere in some basement in New England. So Hack eventually gives in, and finally agrees to come and compete against Gotch in America. And he's got all these stipulations. So he says, I'll come. I'm going to be there from April 1st to May 1st. The fight can be between then, and all these cities are going to bid for it. So we got Kansas City, Chicago, Milwaukee. They're all bidding to host this match.
Is there any reason that he didn't try to get it done in the UK?
Well, I think part of the deal was that these promoters were going to put up to have it in America.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think that's where the money is.
They
want. It's not just that Frank
Yeah,
Gotch
of
wants
course.
to beat him. It's that they want to get a good gate. They
course,
He wants to bring him to America and beat the best in the world in America.
America.
Oh, goddamn America. So these places are all bidding to get the fight. Hilariously, this dude who like George Hackenschmidt had fired as his manager like 6 months earlier gets contacted by like the athletic commissioner or whatever, the promoter from Milwaukee, and just takes a $5,000 deposit off the guy. He has nothing to do with George Hackenschmidt anymore. The money's gone. It's in England. That's just the way it is. So
Savage industry.
they end up booking it for Dexter Pavilion Park in Chicago on April the 3rd. So now they've got a little bit of time to lead up. Hack's just doing his thing where he's defending the title. So he makes a few defenses in England,
Okay.
comes to the U.S., makes a few defenses that are like exhibition defenses, right? Like a lot of these guys are ham and eggers. They're not really
Ham and eggers.
They're not really threats. They're ham and eggers. They're just breakfast, right? But he's, just going around doing these exhibitions, doing these defenses, whereas Frank Gotch is with Farmer Byrne out in the woods, training, like really training. He's got a camp and he's really going for it. And he knows that like he's not going to outpower the world's strongest man,
Right.
the Russian Lion.
Yeah.
So he's working on conditioning, right? Which if you add conditioning to technique and then eye gouges, fish hooks, and headbutts, you've got a really good routine. You got a standing chance.
Yeah.
So Hackenschmidt arrives in New York City. He tells these reporters like he's doing a lot of interviews, a lot of press, basically just saying like this is a real fight. This isn't a work. I know you guys have been seeing some works now and then. I know sometimes someone comes to a town and clears it out and it takes everybody's money with all these worked matches. That's not what's happening. We're having a world championship match here.
Okay.
And he basically says like I don't really know this Gotch cat, but I do know that he beat Tom Jenkins. And George Hackenschmidt respects the hell out of Tom Jenkins his whole life.
Yeah.
I think we talked about it in the Hackenschmidt episode.
Definitely.
They remain friends. They have correspondence until Jenkins dies. He also says in the media that he's got a knee injury. He kind of just slips in and he goes, I've got some knee problems. But he says like it's that won't keep me from winning.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Do you think he was trying to hedge his bets a little bit? Like if he did lose, there was a knee thing?
I think so, because as much as he says here, it won't be an issue, and I won't use it as an excuse, after the fight, and I quote, I have been credited with one defeat before at the hands of Beck Olson. It is untrue. This is my first defeat as a professional, and I was physically unfit to wrestle. Mind, however, I am not detracting from my conqueror's victory. I simply want to have the truth known. I had a heavy forfeit up and to annul the match meant thousands of dollars loss. I will say I do not believe any man could stand before me no matter what my condition was. The doctor forbade me to enter the ring, but I did it. Defeat was my reward. This is my first and only defeat. Now that sounds like a man who maybe is making an excuse for a defeat.
You did say the word defeat a lot in there.
Yeah. I've never been defeated. That one guy they said he did it, he didn't do it. I bet he did. Also, just one. Come on. This is why there's no money left in you. That's why they had to put the strap on Gotch. Gotch will put the fucking strap over every now and then. He'll make some excitement. So we get into this April 3rd match. Dexter Pavilion Park in Chicago. The American heavyweight champion Frank Gotch versus the world champion of Europe, George Hackenschmidt. And Hackenschmidt had been the world champion for 7 years with a supposed 3,000 bouts under his belt. Which
that's a lot of wrestling.
Seems a little ridiculous. But he'd been at it for like 10 years. 3,000... No, it's ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous.
I'm bad at math.
And it's also one of those things where it's like, you tell me you didn't work some of these? Come on. Now, Gotch is statistically an underdog.
Okay.
He's not the name. He's a name in American wrestling. There's cigarette cards of him, for sure. But he's not George fucking Hackenschmidt. And he doesn't have the same amount of fights. And he doesn't have the same record.
He's lost a few more.
He's lost several fights.
As all fighters do.
As all fighters do, right? Like, it's inevitable.
Yeah.
And it's also, like, he's lost all these recorded fights. But there's also, like, how many fucking matches has he thrown in some saloon town somewhere on a bet that just nobody knows about?
Yeah.
And there's, like, immediately some kind of tension about, Hackenschmidt doesn't like being back in the States. He doesn't like the way they do business. And he knows that Gotch has a bit of a reputation for being an underhanded bastard. The headbutts, the gouges, the scratching, the fucking, like, the fish hook, checking the oil, everything, right?
No checking of the oil.
No checking of the oil, please. That is, that and the pile driver are banned. But he's going to do it. It's going to be a big payday. It's going to solidify him as the champion. And I think I mentioned it before, where I always kind of think of it in that kind of Talladega Nights. Like Ricky Bobby. Like, you know what I mean? Where he's just like, who's going to beat me?
Yeah.
This brash upstart American might be the only man who can let me retire. Not that he took it with as much grace in the end as Sacha Baron Cohen.
3,000 bouts. I mean, at some point you got to get a little fucking tired.
And this is a dude who likes other things.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, he's got other interests.
Yeah.
The dude's one of the most interesting men that ever lived.
Yeah.
At some point, you're kind of like, how much more of this tights and rolling around do I have to do? They go into the match. Hackenschmidt's 208 and he's 5'9". So that's a beefy tank of a boy, right? That's a good center of gravity. Yeah. He's got arms like legs like people. He's got a neck like a fucking like a tree stump. Gotch is coming in at 5'11", 196. He's lean. He's a little wiry. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's tendon strength. He's farm boy strong, which is the scary, deceiving kind of strong, right?
The scariest type.
They get going. They get into the bout. Immediately, Gotch is fouling.
What's the general? Is it no time limit? Like, what's the general?
This is 3 falls.
Okay,
best of 3 falls.
Yeah.
Pin submission. At the time, I believe there was. This is like I don't know for sure, but I mean I know the bout goes over 2 hours.
Oh, okay.
So this is kind of a like first to a finish.
Yeah.
Best of 3 falls to a finish. At the time, I believe disqualifications, a belt could still change hand. I don't think that hilarious little pro wrestling angle had come in yet. Which, didn't fucking matter because Gotch is immediately fouling Hack. I'm thumb to the eye, just right off the hop, like Roddy Piper, right? He's hitting him with open-handed and then eventually closed fist strikes to the face. And there's this referee, Ed Smith, who is like he's like a sports writer. He's a famous referee. He's on the commission, I'm sure. Who is just ignoring it constantly and just telling like, well, do you want to give up or what? Wrestle on. You know what I mean? Like one of these guys, which he would write several times in his life about how much he loved and admired Frank Gotch. Which, so it brings up the, like, is he rigging? Is he fixing? Is he, like, is he in on it?
Yeah.
But also, when you read about him refereeing other bouts, it seems like he would, like, you'd have to spit in an eye and kick in the balls for this guy to disqualify you.
Oh, so he
He
just
was
across the
always
board.
kind of
Okay,
like
yeah,
this.
he wasn't super
It's not
lenient.
ballet, man.
Okay.
You know, like you're in a fight. So, just are you fighting or not?
Like you call it not ballet when that's basically what. Anyway.
I bet ballet's way harder, honestly. Isn't
like any pro wrestling basically ballet with people? Anyway.
It takes less skill and it hurts a lot more.
I think it takes more skill.
Honestly, now it probably does.
Yeah.
Yeah. The kind of wrestling I liked didn't.
Oh, there's certainly, yeah. No, I agree. Actually, same for me. But I think, yeah, the modern like luchadors.
Oh, yeah, those guys.
Ballet, to be fair.
Yeah.
Mexican ballet.
It's Cirque du Soleil, right?
Yeah,
Like that's what
yes,
it is.
yeah,
It's Cirque du
I
Soleil.
do love Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah. Well, you should watch more Mexican wrestling.
AAA.
Yeah, watch some AAA.
Gotcha.
Every now and then, someone goes off the handle and breaks somebody's arm or some shit. It's fucking fun.
Or Rey Mysterio 619 something.
Oh yeah.
Someone died?
Someone. Yeah.
Rey Mysterio accidentally killed someone.
He accidentally killed somebody. Yeah.
He drop kicked him.
I mean, the
around
guy.
his neck.
The guy.
It's a move that you've seen.
He still does
10,000
it.
times.
He does it every week. But like basically, you kick a guy in the knee and he falls onto the ropes like this,
Yeah.
hanging over the second rope, and then he does this like kind of acrobatic kick through the ropes to the guy. He does it every match.
Like kind of around like this.
Yeah, like he like holds himself in.
Yeah.
But when the guy fell, he like cranked his trachea or something
So when his
onto the rope
neck hits the rope, it just yanks it back and kills him.
and just killed him on instant.
Instantly dead.
But he stayed there.
But he looks like he's just selling.
He looks the exact same. He doesn't like he's hung up there. So Rey Mysterio falls through and hits him with the kick. The guy's already dead.
He
Yeah.
killed him and then kicked him, double kicked him in the face?
I feel bad even telling the story because I think Rey Mysterio is such a genuinely nice guy.
Such an unbelievable
Like and it couldn't be less his fault.
Okay,
It's just-
obviously there's no criminal charge. Like,
No.
He's
It's just
done
an
that.
accident.
It was a freak accident.
It was
Wow.
10 years ago. He's in the WWE right
It
now.
was a
It's
complete freak accident, but it couldn't have happened to like a nicer guy.
Yeah.
That's still gonna be
Yeah.
traumatizing as fuck.
Yeah.
So fucking bad.
that's a.
Ugh, okay.
Oh.
Didn't expect
I
that.
actually fucking total aside here,
Yeah.
but I went and got some like physiotherapy done the other day.
Thank God.
Yeah, no, it was. I'm covered in bruises. The dude beat the shit out of me. Shout out to
Outstanding,
Maxime, good stuff.
Yeah.
But he was like, yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push your trachea aside, and then I'm just gonna like kind of rub into the front of your spinal column a little bit. And I was like, is that legal? What do you mean you're gonna dislodge my trachea? What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm like, where did you get your medical degree, sir?
Yeah. Did you learn this on the streets of Montreal, sir? What the fuck's going on here? To be fair, not as bad as it sounds.
No.
No.
Okay.
It makes a little click that you don't like, though. A very unsettling, like,
No.
and I was like, oh,
It's
fuck,
like
all right.
my rib pop the other day.
Oh, yeah, I've had that. That's super fun. Yeah. Anyway, now that we're done talking about my personal life,
Back to
back to this, back to some more sweaty men laying hands on each other. So we're going 2 hours into this fight, and Frank Gotch's training regimen is paying off because he's still pretty He's still pretty good. He's got gas in the tank, and Hack is on empty.
How
2
after
hours
2
in.
hours? How?
2 hours. And this is 2 hours without a fall. This is just the first fall, right? Hack is exhausted, exasperated, swollen, bloody, because he's getting fouled constantly. You know what I mean? And Smith takes Hack's constant complaints as a sign of submission. And just calls the first fall. Basically he's just like, this'll shut him up.
Right.
He's like, all right, that's it. You submitted.
One.
So Frank's got the fall, right?
Yeah.
Which is a break, basically.
It's like a round.
That's round, and they go over to the corners. Hack ain't coming back.
Fuck.
Hack's done. he
Because how old would Hack be at this point then? Like it was like
in his
30s, mid 30s,
in his early 30s.
early 30s.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's not an old fella by any means.
But for considering what he's been doing.
But what he's been doing, and I think basically I think he doesn't come back because he's like, I can't win.
Right.
I'm getting constantly fouled, and the referee will do fucking nothing about it, right?
Yeah.
This guy has outsmarted me. He's brought me here to America with his American ref, and now he's just beating the shit out of me with no recourse, and I can't get a fair contest out of this. And also, my knee's fucked up, and he looks fine. He looks like he hasn't even broken a sweat yet, and I'm done. So I'm not even going to bother going out. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
So, Frank Gotch from Buttfuck, Iowa is now the world champion of the world. Not the world champion of Europe, the world champion of the world.
The actual world.
First American to hold the world championship because, you know, America wasn't part of the world until this fight was fixed. So, we've got the first bout over, the biggest match in the history of wrestling, right?
Did it go off like in terms of it
was successful?
Impact, like and it was like in the newspapers and it was a whole big.
It's a huge media story. Frank Gotch is an overnight super celebrity. He used to be a dude who was in the sporting pages. Now he can be in the front page, right? Now he's going to start touring the theater circuits and doing all the other things you used to do when you were a big celebrity. And he's defending the title. He defends against Dr. Ben Roller, who I just want to bring up because Ben Roller's so interesting. He was he was a legit doctor who wrestled. He was a very smart man. Well, back then there was no steel chairs involved, so
that's true.
You didn't get a lot of concussions and stuff. He was an actual doctor, and he was way more interested in medicine than he was in wrestling. So wrestling was what he would do to fund his trips through Europe to learn from the great European doctors.
Because that's what you do.
Because no one else could do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's a foolproof way to be like, yeah, if I want to go to Vienna, I'll just enter a wrestling tournament and someone will sponsor me to go, and then I'll go and I'll make some money at the tournament. And then when I'm not wrestling, I'll be in Vienna with, not Freud, but whatever medical doctor he wanted to learn under. So he did a lot of that. And became a great doctor. Yeah, it's one of those things just like, that's the way the world used to work, and the world would never work that way now. Never. That's like if you were like...
Think about that.
It's like if like Dexter Holland, like the lead singer from The Offspring, has I think he has a doctorate in biochemistry or some shit, right? Yeah. And imagine if The Offspring was just a way for me to tour around the world so I could study under the best doctors. The music was fun. I had fun with the music, but The Rock's just been doing this just to learn about tequila. It's the only fucking country he never wrestled in. So he does the theatrical runs.
Yeah.
He goes to England on a theatrical run, defends the world championship against some English fucking jabroni, not Hackenschmidt. And the reason why it's not Hackenschmidt, I'm sure even Frank Gotch, who had proven his point, would be like, oh, I don't think I'll get away with this shit if I'm in England.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But also, Hack he's nursing this housemaid's knee injury that he has, which is... It's called housemaid's knee, which is a hilarious thing for the Russian Lion to have as his ultimate downfall. But it's basically like a bursa swelling over your kneecap. From just doing too much of the wrong shit too often. You know what I mean? Yeah. I have Osgood-Schlatters disease, which isn't dissimilar. It's more or less gone now. It's something you can get when you're young. But just from doing stupid shit improperly.
Right.
And the muscle over your knee gets all twisted up and whatever. So Gotch takes on Stanislav Sabisco, where he does what they claim is one of his most underhanded tactics ever. But knowing Gotch and Sabisco, I kind of feel like it's one of the great works in the history of works, one of the great angles where they go for their handshake, and Gotch just immediately tackles him and throws him on the floor and pins him. Which to
Like
me, off the handshake, which is such a fucking wrestling angle, right? Like that's so fake. It's such a work. But it is like, they couldn't prove it. But also, this is Stanislav Sabisco, who we've talked about before.
I thought the name sounded familiar, yeah.
As the man who double-crossed that phony football wrestler that they brought in to try, like that they tried to get this guy over even though he didn't know how to wrestle. So then Stanislav just like pinned him like 25 times in 3 minutes to the point where the ref couldn't pretend it wasn't happening. You know what I mean? This is a very capable European strongman. He's 260 pounds. He's got 65 pounds on this guy. Really, you're going to be able to tackle him off a handshake and just pin him 1, 2, 3? Come on. I don't think so.
I did see the other day in a Muay Thai match where two women came out and touched gloves, and immediately after the touch, the chick just throws a left hook and a high kick, and just out cold. So, I don't know.
Like, can you get away with it though?
Oh yeah, I was done.
Was that commission?
Oh yeah, no, because as soon as the touch is on,
I guess
you don't have to touch. If you go like this, the fight started.
Oh man,
the head kick.
God,
I actually don't agree with the touching thing.
I agree. No, it's true.
Oh yeah, it's clearly
you shake hands, but you touch gloves before that anyway.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
ref brings you together.
Yeah.
And they touch gloves and then do it again.
Yeah, and then they come in and do it. Yeah, which is
that's bullshit.
But it is also one of the things like I thought we were showing each other respect, and this is the clearest heel move.
Yeah.
Well, it's all legit.
Like,
Such a heel, man.
Like if I was laying on the ground after that, I don't think I'd even be mad. I'd be like, we're gonna get so much for that rematch. Oh, I'm getting back in the gym. This rematch is gonna be fucking killer. So
sportsmanship people. If you're gonna touch, but yeah, it is a bit. Of
yeah. Keep an eye on the motherfucker.
Yeah.
So in 1910, Hackenschmidt is feeling more healed up. He comes back to America. He's trying to gain momentum to get back into contendership, to get back to the number 1 slot, to get a shot at Frank Gotch, to get his world championship, and bring it back to the only part of the world that matters, Europe. So.
And do you think part of this is just that, like, just machismo, like he really wants his title back?
Yeah, he wants his title back.
Right.
I'm sure there's a big payday waiting for him too, which we will see. Theoretically, a very big payday, but mostly I'd say Hack's a sportsman.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
He wants to be the best. He doesn't like how it went down, and he also lost to a cheating bastard. And now that cheating bastard's enjoying the spoils of victory, and Hack's just at home nursing his housemaid's knee. So he comes back, spends some time in America, a destitute, wretched place for a man like Hackenschmidt.
Mm-hmm.
And this was before the fascism. Frank Gotch, however, is back in Iowa, and he's newly engaged to some wealthy heiress. Heiress, as far as like an Iowa heiress in 1910 can be. I don't know. Her dad had 3 grocery stores or something. And his fiance, as most good fighters' wives are, not fond of the way her fiance is making a living. Doesn't really worried he's gonna get hurt. He's so stubborn, and maybe all of the cheating men out of money in saloons might get him shot someday. Who knows? So they announced that this wrestler named Yusuf Mahmoud will replace Frank Gotch. Frank Gotch is gonna retire. He's done. So
passing the belt on.
This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna have a match. George Hackenschmidt, Yusuf Mahmoud. Winners of the world champ. Yeah. There we go. These are the 2 number 1 contenders. Gotch starts flip-flopping because he also loves a bit of sport. He's also got a huge ego. He also wants that money. You know what I mean? And he reneges kind of slowly through the press. He's hinting that, well, I am still game. He's getting around, he's beating around the bush with the fact that, like, maybe I'm not going to let this belt go so quickly. So what he does is he decides that they should determine the number 1 contender with, like, a kind of a round-robin series of matches between Hackenschmidt, Mahmoud, and Stanislav Sabisco, who are the 3 top guys.
Okay.
We're talking Randy Savage, Ultimate Warrior, and Rick Rude. You know what I mean? Bunch of names you know. Bunch of names you know.
I know the names.
We're talking Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Diesel. You know those ones? No, whatever.
Sorry.
Fight boy. I only watch real fights.
Shocking.
So this is a perfect strategy for Gotch.
Right, because
He's going to set these three absolute animals on each other.
right, and he's
And let them,
take down
and
whoever
and
it is.
you're going to have a wounded animal at the end, right?
Beautiful.
They're going to be exposed to wear and tear. They've got the whole time he could just be training.
Yeah.
Or eating ham sandwiches, drinking beer, whatever. There's one problem with this system, and that is that Hackenschmidt and Zbyszko both refuse to face Yusuf Mahmoud because he's a greasy bastard.
Coming from Gotch or
He's the Gotch of Europe.
Well, okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
He's not the greatest wrestler,
Yeah.
but he's real dirty. He's very, very dirty. He's a foul and bastard. He's got a foul manager, this Antoine Pieri, who nobody wants to do business with. Like, Hackenschmidt legitimately says, like, I'll just not fight ever again then. I'm not dealing with this.
Wow.
Like, I will not be doing this. So, Mahmoud's out. Hack versus Zbyszko. Hack, of course, is like a former world champion. But otherwise, this is like about where the odds makers are having a hard time with this one.
Okay.
This is a pretty evenly matched fight, even though, I mean, like, Zbyszko's bigger, Hack's stronger. They have this fight in NYC, and Hack has to throw Zbyszko twice to win. And if neither of them got a fall, it would be a draw.
Yeah.
But they used to have these, like, kind of stipulations all the time where they would set up, mostly for, like, betting, I'm sure. But it'd be like, well, Hack has to throw me twice to win. I only have to throw him once.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
That's some
Shit like that used to happen all the time.
Yeah. That's when it's like a work but not a work. It's like you're setting it up. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, neither guy throws the other. It gets declared a draw, even though, I mean, the stipulation was 2 throws, buddy. You kind of lost, Hack. But they call it a draw so that they can just pick and choose who's going to take the fight with Gotch, and Hackenschmidt's where the money's at this point. Hackenschmidt is the money fight. So Gotch wrestles a few more international contenders. Popcorn fights, probably. You know what I mean? And then Hack loses another challenge throw match. It's not looking great. It was a handicap. He was fighting 2 men and he couldn't throw them. So, hey, I mean, me either, buddy.
Not at the same time, but just like when he had to fight like 2 matches back to back.
No, I think he was probably wrestling 2 at the same time.
Jeez.
It's probably at work, right? It's all work somewhere down the line.
Yeah, 2v1 usually I would assume would be, but anyway.
I don't know. I've seen one man knock 2 motherfuckers out in pretty quick succession before.
Fair.
It's happened.
Yeah.
They book a Labor Day 1911 rematch. 3 years after the first bout,
Yeah.
they're having the rematch. It's in Chicago again, but it's at this brand new stadium, Comiskey Park, which is like a ballpark that they've, like, I'm quite sure it still exists in some form.
Right.
They've of course renovated it quite a lot.
Yeah.
And Hackenschmidt goes to Chicago, sets up a training camp with Dr. Ben Roller, and Gotch goes back to Humboldt, Iowa to train with Farmer Burns, and he's running 14 miles every morning, full day of sparring with Burns and other members of their fight camp.
I can see the Rocky montage in my head.
Yeah. Then you've got Hackenschmidt's kind of much weaker training regimen, where he's just kind of moping around all the time. Instead of sparring, he's going for long walks along the lake. You know what I mean? And there are some rumors that Ad Santel, who was a protege of Hack's, was actually paid to injure Hackenschmidt in the training camp. He told this to Luthez like 45 years later. Now, probably not 100% true.
Why would you say that? Just people like to embellish a little bit.
it was a knee injury that ended up happening.
Okay.
There was already a fucking knee injury, right? Now, what people do suspect is that Santel, and also I think most people are just kind of like, Ad Santel wasn't going to be doing much to George Hackenschmidt. It just wasn't, he wasn't there yet.
Yeah, yeah.
But what is a lot more likely is that Santel was actually just a mole. So Santel
Just
finds out that Hackenschmidt is injured, and he
kinda
tips
shitty.
off.
Yeah,
He tips off the Gotch camp about it.
got it.
So the day of the fight comes, and like in the press, Gotch says like, "I've heard he's got a bad knee. I don't know. Guess we'll see how the knee goes. You know, this is Donald Trump shit right there. And it, I don't know. Everything. Yeah, if you sound like a dumb fuck, you do a pretty good impression.
Yeah. Just the look on Jimmy's face was priceless.
That's all you have to do. Just think, man, how could I sound as fucking dumb and unimpressive as possible?
Ignorant. You have to, you have to have it ignorant.
Fucking putz. So the day of the match, the athletic commission doctor, the assigned doctor, checks them both out. They're both fit to fight, but he does note that Hackenschmidt is sleep deprived, nervous, and complaining about his knee. 3 p.m. Gotch hits the ring. Champion first. Don't like that. 3:07, Hackenschmidt follows. Handshake. Feeling out kind of thing. They got a little intermission. Gotch takes a fall on Hackenschmidt. And by this point, 15 minutes in, he's got a fall on Hackenschmidt, and they take the intermission, and Hackenschmidt is fucking blown up, right? Like,
Right.
He's gassed. He's rolling to his corner. Gotch spry. Gotch is just bouncing around, right? Like a newborn pup. He's in the prime of his life. He's in peak condition. He's as good a wrestler as there's ever been at this point. They get about 5.5 minutes in the second fall. Gotch could smell the weakness. He goes straight for the patented toe hold, right? The patented toe hold. The silliest sounding way to cripple a man there is, you know? And Hack realizes he's done. He's in the hold. He's you know when you're like you got an arm bar on or something, and you know, like, I've got a few seconds before this gives up, but I'm not getting out, right?
Yep.
I'm not hyperextended yet.
I do.
Yeah, I'm not hyperextended yet, but I know it's coming.
Yeah. You feel that.
My girlfriend helps to edit my notes, and she put, "Aw, poor guy," right after this sentence. But when Hack realizes,
Al, you're the best.
when Hack realizes that Gotch has him, he turns his head and he says, "Please don't break my leg."
Like, actually.
Yeah, he literally says this. And Gotch says, "What?" So he pleads with him, "Please don't break my leg." And Gotch says, "You're going to have to give me the fall then. Like, there has to be a fall.
Yeah.
If you don't want me to break your leg, you have to give up now." So he gives up, turns over, takes a pinfall instead of a submission. Which, again, that's some classic wrestling. The babyface does not submit. He'll take the pinfall. He's not putting you over with a submission. No way. So Gotch wins round 2. Round 2 of bout 2.
Much more decisively.
More decisively, but confusing. And the crowd is furious.
They were expecting a much longer match?
They were expecting a better fight, for
Right.
sure. But also, the way that second round ends. If you're a spectator and you're just watching him not really put the hold on, and they're having a conversation, and then he rolls over and takes a pin, right? So,
Terrible view.
yeah, terrible viewing. That's like Montreal Screwjob shit, where you're like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
I feel like how do you not know about this? That's when Bret Hart got screwed over by Vince McMahon in a world title fight in Montreal. And then... We'll do it. We'll do that on its own. We'll do that on its own.
I have some controversial takes on that.
I think we all do.
I think
That's
Jimmy's
up there
trying
with
to hold
9/11
the
and
log
JFK.
back
It was the top 3 conspiracies.
Okay. Are there really wrestling conspiracies?
Oh my
There's
God,
nothing
there's
but wrestling
so
conspiracies.
So many. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That should be an episode right
The
there.
Earth
Wrestling,
is-
best
the Earth is
wrestling
flat,
conspiracies.
and,
One of my best friends, who's a smart guy, he came to me. He's a wrestling fan as well, and he came to me. He said, "Oh, did you know that the Undertaker and Kane weren't actually brothers?" And I said, "Yes."
Yes.
And he said, "Did you know the Undertaker was actually brothers? Was actually brothers with the Big Show?" And I said, "No, he wasn't." I was like, "Do you understand that they would have made that story? Dude.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have kept that.
We would all know.
But he again, smart guy who fully believed that this was."
Someone told him that. He was like, fuck,
Yeah,
really?
He's like, yeah, no, all right, yeah, I guess so.
Well, my favorite one I heard recently was that birds aren't real. That birds are all animatronic.
Yeah, birds
Well, do
are
you know
all...
now, there are bird drones. So, like, for those guys who believe that, I feel
Oh,
so
no.
sorry for them.
Oh,
Because,
no.
Like, there are literally China makes bird drones, so you can't tell. It looks like a bird.
And that's how conspiracy theories live on, right?
100%.
Is like there's this one little true thing in this sea of
I
nonsense.
feel sorry for the COVID people as well with the jab, because the conspiracy for the last like 20 years has been the government's going to put a chip in you.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course,
And
of
then
course.
literally, all of a sudden, the government's like, "Hey, let's put a jab in you." Hang on a minute.
Yeah, wait a
I'm
second.
sorry for them. I was like,
Yeah.
this
Am I gonna wake up with syphilis?
Everything
What
they
is
ran has
this?
just happened in
Yeah,
front of them. Of course they're gonna
like
be
Tuskegee,
fucking-
right? Where it's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
I've seen what the government does with needles. All right, we're not doing this shit.
Sorry.
Anyway, now that I've disparaged the American president and we've talked about conspiracy theories, I feel like we're
back to the wrestling.
I'm the one who doesn't smoke pot. So we've got an angry crowd, right?
Okay.
We got an angry crowd. They're throwing chairs. They're throwing shit in the ring. It's like when Hulk Hogan joined the NWO. Another thing that Javi doesn't fucking understand. So the strange ending of the match has everyone confused, and I mean, there's a good chance that like, just like today, sports betting was the reason sports existed. There was a good like 60-year period where people just got to enjoy sports and degenerates bet on it. And now, like, sports only exists for betting. At the time, there's a good chance most of these people had some money in the game, had some skin in the game here. And Gotch openly shares his account of what happened. So this is what happened. I had him. He asked me not to break his leg. I couldn't hear him. He had to say it again. It took a second, okay?
Yeah,
it took
yeah,
a second. He turned over and took the fall because I had him beat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Hack basically says, like, yeah, that's true. Which is more or less, that's a pretty admirable way of going about it. It's like being like, I really didn't want him to break my leg. I got shit I want to do. And
I like that.
he of course also adds like, I shouldn't have gone into the match, but my manager kind of made me.
So there are no excuses, but excuses.
Yeah.
again.
Now it turns out that's probably true, because his manager was a fellow named Jack Curley. Now Jack Curley was also involved in that story about that football player Wayne Munn getting absolutely embarrassed by Stanislav Sabisco 14 years after this. Jack Curley's a greasy bitch. Jack Curley is a rat bastard, a rat fink, one might say. Hack comes in to kind of whatever. It's not a press conference or whatever. But he comes in to talk to the press, and he says like he insisted that the major newspapers announce that all bets for the bout were off to ensure that people not lose their asses on a half-crippled wrestler, right? Like, so this is.
So wait, did they say
This
like,
is leading up.
Yeah.
He's insisting that Jack Curley makes this happen. And I think it was put into a newspaper in some small section of the sports. It doesn't mean all bets were off. It doesn't mean people weren't betting. It doesn't mean everyone saw it. It doesn't mean that everything's on the up and up. But Hack knew, like, I'm going into this because Jack Curley has pressured me because he's put so much money into it.
Right.
But it's not going to be a fair sporting contest. Like, I'm not in great shape. It's like a... But it's like...
Didn't sound like he really tried to get in great shape, right?
No, but I mean... I think he was a moody man, prone to depression. I also think, like, how much can you do with a bad knee? But basically, what this advertisement was, it was like a wet floor sign at a slippery restaurant. You know what I mean?
Right. Just
You can't
covering
sue
our
me now.
asses. Yeah,
You can't sue me now.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of money being made here. This is a hugely successful bout.
Right.
We're talking $87,000 at the gate. Okay? That, in today's money, is 2.85 million US. That's just
At
the
the
live
door.
event gate. That's just the door. The theoretical payoffs, and this is in 1911 money,
Yeah.
20 grand to Gotch.
Okay.
After that 20 grand, 70% of the gate goes to Hackenschmidt, and 30% goes to paying the venue and to the promoters. That's the breakdown. So this is...
So they take 20 off the top, and whatever's left.
Yeah, there's a
is-
guaranteed 20,
Okay.
and then 70% of whatever's left goes to
Only
Hack.
Gotch gets the guaranteed 20.
Yeah, but that's because that's the low end.
Okay. Oh, okay.
The money is for Hack.
Right.
Which is also kind of like, why is he doing this? If he's got a bad knee, and well, he's gonna make $1 million.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And this isn't Mayweather times. You know what I mean? $1 million for a fight, that's pretty unheard of.
Right.
Instead, Hackenschmidt gets about 11 grand, because Jack Curley fucks him. He gives him 11
So
grand,
wrestling.
sends him across the ocean, never gives him the rest. Curley fucks the other promoters. Like, he's really... Curley made some money. Jack Curley is up there in the greatest wrestling promoters of all time, just in the sense of he understood the business, which is fucking everyone for money. That's what it's about. Like, that's...
That does seem one of the most consistent themes through every episode we've done is someone's fucking somebody else
Yes,
over for money.
100%, which is the way the world goes around. But pro wrestling is... I
It's
mean...
a microcosm of the rest of the world.
Yeah, pro wrestling, like, that's what it's built on. That's
Right.
it's a work. That, like, the whole thing is trying to get one over on people. And,
That is a crazy thing
you
to
know,
think about.
think about what an absolute rat bastard Vince McMahon is.
Sure.
Why? What's happened?
What did he do?
Is something happened?
His commentary, I always thought his commentary was the bee's knees.
The clean cut commentator from the 90s.
That's right. What do you mean?
Did he say some off-colored things a couple times?
Oh, no. That was when he was, like, so clean.
Dude,
That's
he's...
what I'm saying, being shocked by the scandal if you only know him as the...
Do you
he
not...
really was clean cut and all that.
Yeah, but I'm saying, obviously, we know who Vince McMahon is now. But I'm saying, if you only knew him...
See, I don't know now or then, so...
Okay.
Oh, well, then you would have just been like, what did the commentator do? If you,
For 20 years, people just thought he was the commentator. They didn't know
was
he
the
owned
owner.
it.
He owned the company, yeah. He was commentating.
And then it's come out in recent years that he's...
Quite the deviant.
Yeah, like he's up for like sex trafficking, and he's like Diddy.
I was gonna say, like... Just,
He's like a much scaled down Diddy. Oh, I don't even want to get into that right now.
Let's just move right along.
So after the fight, Hackenschmidt is broken, man. He's crying in the dressing room.
Well,
He's
so proud,
ashamed
man.
of himself.
He was the shit, and he just
Yeah,
asked someone,
yeah.
please don't break my leg.
Yeah, and in the return bout. As I was saying, I'd be laying on the ground after that cheap shot being like, oh, I'm going to make so much money off this return bout. But in the return bout, you're like, fool me once, shame on you, right? Fool me twice.
Yeah, that's on me.
And I think also a large part was that he showed a significant lack of spirit. And Dr. Ben Roller, who was his head trainer in his camp leading up to the fight, is quoted in the press saying as such, and I quote, "A gamer man than Hackenschmidt may have continued the match. There can be no doubt that he was injured. His condition now will show that. However, I have seen other wrestlers who were suffering from injuries fully as bad as Hackenschmidt go through their matches until no longer possible for them to continue."
Called
Not...
him a pussy, basically.
Yeah. And the referee kind of brings it up. Like, everyone just says, like, he had no heart. He had no heart. He was not game.
And that's all a fighter's supposed to be in the end. No one really cares how
Yeah.
skilled you are if you're
if you have if you have the fighting spirit, you're a babyface. Everybody admires it. Doesn't matter if you win or lose.
Yeah.
I mean, in pro wrestling, like, the best way to get over is to lose well. Like, that's the best
That's what
way to
people
get
like the
popular,
most.
right? Like if you want to, like, The Undertaker made Jeff Hardy by beating Jeff Hardy. But Jeff looked so good in the match that The Undertaker, like, showed respect in the end and raised his hand after he'd lost. And the crowd, like, that's how you make a wrestler, right? Stone Cold, that match we watched where Stone Cold Steve
I was
Austin
just thinking of that,
passes out,
Yeah.
did more for his career than any other single thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's not what happened here. Not only did he give up,
Exact opposite.
he begged in the end, right? And Hackenschmidt fucking hates Frank Gotch.
Okay.
Refuses to discuss him. Becomes furious if his name is brought up in front of him. His whole life. And he's like still friends with Jenkins.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's got respect for these other fighters and stuff.
It's Gotch in
Now,
particular.
none
It's
of
like,
these other
fuck
fighters
that
ever
dude.
fucking beat him.
Yeah.
So maybe
Right.
that's it.
Right.
But also, I think it's pretty clear and established and well known that Frank Gotch was a dirty, Fallon bastard,
Yeah.
right?
I like just first fight, first thing.
Yeah,
right to the
there you go. Which, to be fair, is the first thing I'd do in a fight, with men much less intimidating than George Hackenschmidt. Thumb to the eye. Listen, a fight's a fight. Someone's
Yeah,
getting
man.
hurt. It ain't gonna be me.
That's why you don't get into fights.
Yeah, well, that and I'm fucking 35. You can't get into fights in your 30s. There's just no. You need a real good excuse to fight a man in your 30s. The whole kind of situation leaves a bitter taste in the sporting public's mouth, right? The one-sided nature, the bizarre finish, super disappointed to the fans, and it led many to wonder at the legitimacy of the sport. Particularly the match, but then the whole sport, because it's not like this is the first.
This is the biggest one, right?
This is the
supposed to be
biggest
the
one,
standard,
and
yeah.
if you've been following wrestling, it's not like you've never seen something before where you're like,
Hmm.
"What the fuck's going on? Are you sure?"
That was a little weird.
Yeah, that's a little weird. I don't know about that. Many sports writers are openly questioning the validity of the contest.
Wow.
Right.
But in your opinion, you think it was a valid contest?
I think it was a valid contest, and I think that the fix was in. But I think
Fix was in. What do you mean?
I feel like those two men went out and had a valid contest, but there were many factors involved that almost guaranteed a Frank Gotch win.
Okay.
So I'm not saying that like they were in there working together, but I'm
it was
saying
set up to have a particular
the way it was kind of put together, and the state of Hackenschmidt and the way Jack Curley manipulated everyone around him. I think there was a foregone conclusion here, and maybe Hackenschmidt didn't know that. You know, to fix a game, you only need to really tip off one guy, right?
That's true.
All you have to do is tip off the referee. If you got the referee in your pocket, you've got it.
That's
You know what I
supposed to
mean?
be that, yeah.
So this is a situation where there were a lot of fail safes.
Okay.
This is like if when they went to shoot Kennedy, like they had the grassy knoll and they had Lee Harvey. You know what I mean? This is like they've got all the factors in place. You can't miss.
Right.
Man, I'm really on that conspiracy tip. You guys got me all hooked up on this shit. I'm gonna have to go.
Next is the
I'm
Earth.
gonna have to smoke some weed
Yeah,
later.
I think so.
Spend 7 hours on YouTube.
Stoner Blake will be something. I tell
Oh,
you, when he finally comes.
there was Stoner Blake when I was like 20. He sucked, dude. He sucked. Did not make me more creative. Was not a better guitar player. I promise. So was it a fix? Sort of. Shitbird Jack Curley.
He seemed to come out with the winner.
He managed to kind of manipulate the betting market into being like at the time. I don't know if anyone like Arnold Rothstein a few years later maybe did a better job making money off bets by fixing a game with the 1919 World Series, but he's also like he's not only manipulating it for like these he doesn't have the ref in his pocket. He's forcing his injured fighter to go out there against the greatest fighter in the world. You know what I mean? The only man who's ever beat him before. And now you got to go take him on. You got an obviously injured knee, and he knows you have an injured knee. So,
Fuck those people.
Yeah. So he bets against Hackenschmidt, Jack Curley. He bets against his own fighter. It makes $35,000 off of that.
And that's
Okay?
his money, yeah.
So that's like he also negotiates the rights to the film footage of the bout because this is 1911. This is some brand new technology.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He walks away with $70,000 before the bet money. So that's $2.25 million US today. and all he had to do that was sell out everyone around him. You know.
Just have no soul and no spine.
Yeah. Which, if there's anything that's ever gotten in the way of making money, it's been a soul and a spine.
Ethics.
Those are top two.
Yeah.
Top three is a family. They'll suck that money. Woo!
You can ask Jimmy.
And Hackenschmidt's reputation and his self-worth are in absolute tatters, right? He quickly challenges Gotch to a private rematch, which is not an unheard of thing, to have a private wrestling match.
Sure.
And he doesn't want any of these other little shitbirds around. He doesn't want Jack Curley involved. He doesn't want any of these things. He wants to heal his knee up and fight Gotch one more time and see if he's got it, right? He wants to test himself in a unmuddied
not for the
scenario.
Money, not for nothing
Yeah,
else,
he doesn't want
just-
anything in there other than pride and sportsmanship. And Gotch is like, yeah, I'll fight you in a month. And he's like, well, no, my knees hurt. And he's like, well, I don't know, man.
That's it.
I don't know what to tell you. So Hackenschmidt goes back to England, never comes back to America, never wrestles again. He's done.
That was the last one.
He retires. He sets up a couple, and then he changes his mind. He's like, no, my knee's fucked. I'm done. And then he lives an incredible life, which we've gone over before. But being interned for being suspected as a spy. He lives all over Europe. He dies in England at 90 years old, a celebrity.
Yeah.
Gotch would continue to defend his title for 2 years. He has a son in 1913, retires, moves back to Humboldt, Iowa, with his family, and unfortunately, 6 years after beating Frank Gotch or George Hackenschmidt for the second time, he dies of uremic poisoning at 40 years old.
Of what poisoning?
Uremic poisoning, which is basically like when your kidneys aren't functioning and they're not distilling the toxins that go into you.
Right.
Which I think in an early episode I might have said that he drank himself to death, and I apologize for that. I think that might have just been an assumption for all wrestlers that I just.
No,
Yeah, I'm
I
sure.
think you said that. No, I don't think you said he drank himself to death. I think you said alcohol was involved, and if it was,
Maybe,
this,
and
like,
then there's a
no
good
way it
chance.
wasn't.
Although that I
It's
don't.
part of the generation.
Yeah, it's also.
Fuck didn't get drunk as fuck.
Yeah, he's a loaded, rich, competitive dude who's now living in Iowa, avoiding his family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Something's got to fail.
He's probably having a fucking few pops and maybe a little laudanum every now and then. I don't know. Pure speculation. I hope.
Getting opium in the UK back then pretty easily.
Well, no, this is Iowa.
Oh, sorry.
But
yeah.
laudanum everywhere. Yeah, they still had blow in the coke. They still had coke in the coke. This dude was partying. Or he, was a farm boy who had a bad kidney. Maybe he was a real nice dude outside of the ring. I don't know. But he didn't drink himself to death technically. So I apologize for making that assumption that all wrestlers before 1999 just drank themselves to death. And that's kind of the end of the story of the two most important wrestlers to ever live.
Even to this day, you don't.
To this day,
you don't
and
think there
no,
hasn't
I do
been-
not think so. And Hulk Hogan just died, and we're not going to get into my personal feelings about Hulk Hogan, but I
you
will
know you
say,
fucking hate him.
oh well, yeah, well, fuck that guy. But
Have we got into it for you?
yeah, thank you, Javi. Thank you for clearing that up. I
Anyone who's
got,
watched it all knows you fucking hate him.
but there's no denying that, like, as far as like pure worked pro wrestling,
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan's the king.
Right.
No one can touch him. Dude's the amount of time he spent on
Lunchboxes
top,
and
the amount of money he made,
yeah.
and also like in that Jack Curley way, like the amount of fucking money he swindled
Really?
out of like WCW is incredible. It's incredible, and I don't fault him. Like, you taking money from Ted Turner, take that fucking money.
Stealing from a billionaire isn't the worst crime.
Yeah, you might have crippled the company,
Yeah.
but the company's parent company was CNN, so it's fine.
But that's not the things that people don't like. Oh,
That's not what we don't like about you, Hulkster. But like, so in that sense, like, sure, Hulk Hogan is more important to the spectacle of MTV style cartoon worked wrestling.
Yeah.
But as far as like people changing the game and being the best at it, as disappointing as these fights were, you were watching both the two greatest to ever do it, and you were watching kind of the birth of organized professional wrestling. Like not long after this, through these guys, the people that learned from this
Yeah.
are the Gold Dust Trio that come and revolutionize and kind of establish the system for worked professional wrestling.
Right.
You know what I mean? Clearly, it evolves over time.
But this was the
this
ground.
is,
This is
you could say that maybe Farmer Burns laid the groundwork first 10 years before this with a young Gotch going up and ruining these mining towns and things like that. But like this is kind of like a huge catalyst, and it's not until, you know, Jim Londos after the Second World War that you get this kind of action again. And then from there you get Gorgeous George, and then from there you get Hulk Hogan.
Because when does he come in? Is he early 80s?
Yeah, Hogan starts in the late 70s,
Okay.
but his big kind of run starts in 84.
Okay.
That's when he comes to New York and Vince goes national.
Because I was born in 80, and I remember seeing Hulk Hogan.
You couldn't get away from him. Couldn't get away from him. My whole fucking life, you couldn't get away from the guy. My buddy's son, actually, my buddy has a 9-year-old, 8-year-old son. And my buddy was like, hey, Hulk Hogan died. And he's like, Santa with muscles? From the movie Santa with Muscles, which is like a terrible fucking kids movie Hulk Hogan made in the 90s. And then my buddy had to explain, I was like, well, no, he was a wrestler. And my buddy was telling me this, I was like, how on earth? How on earth could even an 8-year-old?
Yeah, still know who Hulk Hogan is.
But it's the same thing as like when like Paul McCartney was on that song with Rihanna and Kanye West like 10 years ago. And all these people were on Twitter being like, I don't know who this Paul McCartney is, but he's about to blow up.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah. I think he's going to actually, I think he'll handle it quite well. Yeah, I think he's got this under control. Yeah. But yeah, that's the story of that's the story of the greatest wrestling matches that were ever held.
Which is funny how often sometimes when you get the two best doing it, the matches, the contest isn't always that exciting.
Isn't that great?
The Super Bowl often sucks, but
Yeah.
it is what it is.
It is what it is. You can't take the importance away from it. And the characters are great.
I mean, that's
You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
these are real interesting cats who lived real interesting lives
Some
and
shorter than
excelled.
this.
Yeah, well, one much shorter than 50 years shorter than the other.
Yeah.
But you know, maybe the consolation prize for getting your ass kicked by a cheating bastard is to live not once but twice.
Yeah.
Get to a ripe old 90. You
I
know.
like that.
We'll see you next time, gang.
Fun, guys.